This will be the last video before the new year kicks in. I just wanted to thank everyone who has supported the channel. I started in June and did not expect it to take off as quickly as it did. I have a lot of fun talking about women's basketball, and it's so awesome to see so many other people care about it as well. I can't stress enough that this is only the beginning. This channel has only been around for 7 months. There's even bigger and better things planned in the future. As promised, I will be doing a deeper review of the freshmen across the country to see how they are doing. I think this is a great time to do it because non-conference play is almost completely over. The cutoff date for the stats in this video will be December 23rd. I'm not sure when this video will go up because it's going to take a long time to edit, but it will be out before the year ends. And so if someone had a crazy performance after December 23rd and it isn't mentioned, that's why. This video will be 2 parts. I'm doing this to give lesser known freshmen some time to shine. Part 2 will be me talking about what I believe the 8 best freshmen have been so far. This will be posted only a few days after this one. Only class of 2023 players will be considered for this video. There's going to be a lot of players, so I'll provide timestamps. We'll start with Arizona. They were projected to have the 3rd best recruiting class. It's been a mix of highs and lows. Their highest ranked recruit, Montea Dew, unfortunately tore her ACL before the season started, so we'll have to wait until next year. Jada Williams has played 12 games and started in 6, but unfortunately we have not seen much. Whether you go off her simple statistics of 6 points per game and 2 assists on 30% shooting, or advanced analytics that have her in the bottom half in most categories, Jada Williams has been playing really bad. The most puzzling part about this is the disparity between Jada Williams and Bryea Cunningham, who played on the same team in high school. Jada is dead last in offensive rating and defensive rating for Arizona. On the other hand, Bryea has the best defensive rating and is 2nd in offensive rating on Arizona's team. Speaking of Bryea Cunningham, when she's on the floor, she's been great, specifically on the defensive end. When she's able to stay out of foul trouble, she's able to get multiple blocks a game. She's also able to get steals, which is not something you see from traditional centers. 8 points per game isn't eye-popping, but her field goal percentage is over 60%. Eventually, she'll get more looks as her game improves, along with her teammates finding ways to hit her in the paint. She's top 20 in blocks per game, despite only averaging 19 minutes per game. It makes you wonder what she could do with more time, and that starts with staying out of foul trouble. Jada Williams is on a very short list of 2023 All-Americans that have not played well. She still has at least 7 more semesters of college basketball, so there's a lot of time to turn it around. But as of now, there isn't much. Skylar Jones was the 96th ranked recruit and has given Arizona quality minutes. She's playing how you would expect a 4-star freshman to play, so I have no complaints there. We'll see what Arizona does when conference play starts. I don't know how BYU does it, but they seem to find people no one else knows about. Kailey Woolston has shown to be a promising 2-guard. She's averaging 14.5 points per game on 52% shooting. Keep in mind, Kailey wasn't even ranked in the top 100. I was watching her highlights and was like, dang, she looks good. This is a player people will regret missing out on. She's a great slasher, but she also shoots 50% from 3. And she is willing to put in work on the defensive end. The game I'm most impressed by is when she played against Utah. She had 17 points on a great 7 for 10 shooting. BYU will have to be careful because this is someone the University of Utah would want to steal. Her play style is literally perfect for their system. Another freshman who has been playing well for BYU is Amari, who happens to be the coach's daughter. Usually college coaches put their kids on the team even if they don't deserve it. But in this case, Amari is a good basketball player who would be on a team regardless of connections. Right now, she's averaging 11 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. She also leads the team in steals with 2 a game. However, her efficiency isn't the greatest. She shoots 40% from the field, 32% from 3, and 68% from the free throw line. This will definitely need to go up, but she's proven to be a solid 2-way player. I'm going to pay attention to BYU a lot more than I did in the past, because between BYU's 2 rising freshmen and Lauren Gustin, they have a lot of potential this year. Duke has 2 freshmen that have provided quality minutes so far. That's Jaden Donovan and Aluchi Okananwa. Despite coming off the bench, Jaden Donovan leads the team in blocks, and Aluchi leads the team in the rebounds. Jaden Donovan's athleticism has proven to be valuable, especially on the defensive end. Jaden and Aluchi both have a top 3 defensive rating on Duke. Donovan has been quiet offensively in most of the games for Duke, but against Georgia, she had 13 points and 3 blocks in their overtime win, so it's fair to say they needed every bit of it. Aluchi is Duke's best offensive weapon off the bench. Right now, she is averaging 10 and 7 in only 20 minutes of play. I think her most impressive showing was her 12 points and 9 rebounds in their overtime loss at Stanford. It felt like every point she gave them in that game had came at the right time. I think these two will be building blocks for a Duke team that is on the rise. Kara Lawson slowly but surely making Duke an ACC powerhouse. Iowa State has not one, not two. They have 5. Yes, 5. Freshmen. I'll do my best to not have them take up half the video. Iowa State is what I thought Arizona would be. Freshmen becoming leaders of the team and growing together. Audi Brooks and Addie Brown have been the best so far. I'll go more into Addie Brown in part 2 of this video, but let's just say she's been insane. Audi Brooks has 2. She's averaging 16 points, 6 rebounds on 68% shooting. Did you think that was good? She's done that with only an average of 21 minutes of play. Her play style is very similar to Alyssa Peely, which is a scary thought, considering how dominant she is. Peely is one of those players you think you would never see again, but here we are. Aubrey Brooks is giving us a preview of what Sarah Strong could potentially look like. But in the meantime, the Big 12 won't have any fun guarding her. Their other freshmen have not made the insane impact Audi and Abby have, but they have provided quality production off the bench. Jalen Bristow is averaging 7.5 points and 5 rebounds in only 17 minutes. Kelsey Jones, just like her sister Ashley Jones, has been versatile. She has an average of 8.5 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists in about 23 minutes of play. I'm very excited to see Iowa State in conference play. They've always been great at developing players, and with the recruiting class they have now, they might become the queens of Iowa after Caitlin leaves. I debated on making a section for LSU because we haven't seen much outside of Michaela Williams. But it seems weird to skip over the projected #1 recruiting class in a video like this. The other freshmen have barely played this season so far, and when they have played, it's been garbage time against fodder basketball teams. This tells me Kim Mulkey doesn't think they are ready yet. I'm hoping we see more of them this year, but that's anybody's guess. It would be unfortunate if the other freshmen don't work out, but acquiring Michaela Williams means LSU still got a huge win. I'll definitely talk about her in part 2 of this video. Spoiler alert, she's been exceptional. North Carolina had to redshirt 2 of their freshmen due to injury. Layla Hull will sit out after getting surgery in the offseason. My concern for Sierra Toomey is very high. She tore her ACL in high school but was able to finish the end of her senior season. But now she went through another surgery this summer. The best case scenario is that this surgery fixes any lingering problems. But there's also the worry of this being another AZ FUD situation. I hope that's not the case. NC State has been on an unexpected tear this season, and a big part of that is Zoe Brooks. She was the #9 recruit in the country, and she's showing exactly why. She does a bit of everything. She's able to score, rebound, and pass. She has also proven to be a good defender. Her versatility allows her to contribute even if her shot is off. For NC State to continue their dominance, her development will be huge. Her three-point percentage is only 26%, which definitely isn't ideal, and she's also averaging 3 turnovers a game. But she's done a lot more things right than wrong. Zoe and NC State already look very good. Who knows what she can become with continuous improvement. Chloe Kitts and Full Wiley have been the star players out of South Carolina's recruiting class. I'll talk about them in part 2 of this video, but what about Tessa Johnson and Sanaya Ja? It just dawned on me. Tessa Johnson will fulfill the same role as Tahina Powpow once she eventually enters the draft. Tessa Johnson is a true point guard and is a sniper from 3-point range. It's a small sample size, but so far she is shooting 60% from the field and 53% from 3. Her ceiling is very high. She has a lethal jump shot, she is long and tall, and has good court vision. Personally, this is one of the people I'm most excited to see how she develops. Ja's offense could use some work, but on the defensive end, she has been great. Having a really good defensive player off the bench is always part of the South Carolina formula, and I think Ja will be able to fill that role. Players like Ja are important. Not everyone can score 1,000,000 points, you need some people that put some effort on the defensive end. Stanford had a decently ranked recruiting class coming in. The best so far has been Nunu Agara. She's a 6'2" forward who has put up modest performances. Ironically, she's averaging more minutes than Lauren Betts. I guess Tara Vanderveer learned her lesson. Right now, she's averaging 8 points and 4 rebounds in 18 minutes off the bench. This isn't anything crazy, but considering how good Stanford's post-player development has been, I think she will be very good in her upperclassmen years. Courtney Ogden was the 10th ranked recruit. Unfortunately, we haven't seen her do much outside of the Gonzaga game, where she scored 13 points. I'm not entirely sure if we'll see more playing time with her or not. Sometimes Stanford's freshmen play, sometimes they don't. Stailee Hurd plays for Oklahoma State and has been an amazing two-guard so far. Right now, she's averaging 15 points per game on 60% shooting. Her best game was against Oregon when she dropped 23 points and grabbed 8 rebounds. And this was done on an efficient 9 for 17 shooting. And she's shown she can play well against good competition. She scored 17 points on 11 shots versus Colorado. She scored 15 points with only 9 shots against Ohio State and had 7 rebounds in the same game. But the Big 12 has added a lot of good guards this season, and Stailee Hurd is one of them. Oregon's class of 2022 recruiting has proven to be a success, and they added 3 more players this season. So far, the All-American Sohia Bell is the only one that has gotten a lot of playing time. Offensively, she has been very streaky. When she's hot, Oregon has a lethal 3-point shooter who can also score on the drive, due to her length. But there are times where she's ice cold, and she can't buy a shot, which has tanked her field goal percentage to 34%. However, one thing that has been consistent is her defense. She leads the team in steals, and in her recent games, she has gotten multiple blocks. We'll see if it lasts in conference play, but a guard who is good at stealing the ball and getting blocks could be dangerous, especially when her offensive game eventually improves. Last but not least, Uconn's freshman class. Uconn has had its ups and downs this season, but one thing that has been very promising is their freshmen. I'm not going to bring up their crazy performances against Toronto because it was against a Division II team, but they've played great outside of that game anyway, and I think the most impressive showing was when they played against Texas. In the fourth quarter, they all came together and made a big run. Without them, the final score would have been much worse than what it was. The biggest thing I want to see from Uconn's freshmen is more consistent play, specifically against higher competition. KK Arnold so far has been the best against Power 5 schools. She did quite a bit of everything against Louisville, North Carolina, and Maryland. In all 3 of these games, she had 5 assists. She had multiple steals and rebounds as well. She also scored double figures against UCLA. I think the reason she is able to play even against harder teams is because her quickness and ball handling are on a higher level than most college players. It's about getting better at other things, specifically jump shooting. KK Arnold is playing really well and has a lot potential. I think she will have a great run in the Big East along with the other freshmen. Ashlyn Shade was dominant in the Big East opener. She scored 22 points on a ridiculous 60% from the field. This was the game high, which is impressive considering Paige Beckers and Aaliyah Edwards are on the team. In the 11 games she's played so far, she shot over 50% in 7 of them. She had 7 points in only 11 minutes versus Texas, and 10 points in only 15 minutes versus Maryland. Ashlyn Shade is a scary player when she gets hot. Once she becomes more consistent, she's going to be hard for the other team to deal with. The term streaky player is thrown around a lot, but I don't think anyone is more streakier than Cadence Samuels, specifically from 3. In every game she's played so far, she has either shot over 50% from 3 or shot 0%. It's a small sample size, but that's a pretty wild stat. I think if she can become more consistent from the outside, she can become a very solid player for Uconn. If Ashlyn Shade and Cadence Samuels get hot in the same game, I feel bad for the other team. There's multiple ranked teams in the Big East right now, and I'm very interested to see what they do against them. Uconn potentially could lose Paige Beckers and Aaliyah Edwards this season, so it's important they build for the future. That concludes part 1 of this video. If you thought these players were impressive, just wait for part 2. Players like Juju Watkins aren't just the best freshmen, they are some of the best players playing in general. That's it for this video. I hope everyone enjoyed it and has an amazing new year. See you in 2024.